You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast. If you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot. Leave now. Run to your safe space. Get your little cloth for your tears. All the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any local or government agency. Welcome to Motor Cop Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Iceman. We are going to have a guest today. We ain't had one in a while. But let me get this housekeeping out the way. Of course, we all know if we want a great cigar, relax with in the afternoon, or a good glass of whiskey or bourbon, go to patriotcigar.com and use the promo code MotorCop15. You'll get 15% off of your entire order. And it's also helping me, and it's also helping out small business man also. If you watch the videos and stuff like that, you see the merch, t-shirts I wear, and holster and stuff wear, and you want to help support us that way, you can always go to the Etsy store, Motor Cop Chronicle, or just go to the website, motorcopchronicles.com, click on the right link, and it will bring you there. You can order you some merch. If you would like to get extra episodes along with videos, pictures, and a whole bunch of other stuff, you can join the Patreon. There's 3 different tiers. There's also right now I have you can try the crew member for 7 days for free. And if you like it, you can stay on. It's $10 a month. If not, click you don't want to, and you want to, but you'll have access to everything. You'll see everything that I put out on there. And understand if times are tight, you can't afford it, don't worry about it, because I will continue to put out free episodes. Other than that, we're going to get to it. We're going to introduce our guest. He is a Florida law enforcement officer. We're going to call him Hugo. So how are you doing, sir?
All right. How about yourself, sir?
Oh, going good. Going good. I got that news from my doctor's appointment today that everything is all clear, so that's good.
Shit. They called me up to tell me to get my appointment going today as well, but they decided to argue with me about it.
Yeah, it's different dealing with doctor stuff nowadays.
Well, I got heart bill stuff, so they got to confuse my heart bill versus my personal insurance, and I got yelled at by the lady calling me to make my appointment. You can't do this under your workman's comp. I'm not trying to. I just want a damn appointment to make sure I ain't got lung cancer after smoking on and off for 20-something years.
Yeah, well, let's hope not. I just had a lung cancer screening done. That's what I did, and the doctor's office called me and said I am all clear. Do it again in a year, so that's good news. I quit smoking about probably over 10 years ago now. I still vape, but there's no nicotine in it. I just vape because I still enjoy smoking. So
I quit the vaping, and I quit smoking and went to vaping about 5 years ago, and within a year of that, I quit vaping even. Every now and then I do a good cigar. Treat myself to, because I'm in the South Florida area, Miami, so we do cigars whenever we get a chance. It's like hand in hand, cigar, rum, and bourbon.
Yeah, I used to smoke cigars every now and then. I had got some from my Patriot cigar, and I just, ended up giving them away to people because I just couldn't bring the smoking physical tobacco again. So.
Let me tell you, when I was doing the vaping, it was easier to breathe for damn sure. But let me tell you, after I quit even that, it was a little bit better for me. But my wife figures, she counts if I can find a way to die happy, check it off my bucket list. You know, I was telling you what I went through the last 5 years, including heart and accidents with involving work, where I'm nearly dying on a table in the hospital. Then my heart's being a pain in the ass. So then what did she do for my birthday? She went and bought me a freaking endorsement class for my motorcycle, and then had me buy a motorcycle a month later. She's like, I figure if you're going to try to die, you might as well do it happy.
Well,
so now I got myself a Harley.
What kind did you end up with?
I got my first one's going to be, it was a 2006 Harley Softail Heritage. And let me tell you, you know, my friends like to joke around with me about it being 5-speed, but damn, it gets up, I click it about 85 at most. And we took it up to Daytona from Miami, which was a hell of a ride. So that's always fun.
Well, I tell, if I wanted to go fast, I'd buy a crotch rocket.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, listen, that's my problem though. Is if I ended up getting something with I'm glad that I got something that's kind of restricting my speed, because I have a tendency to have a heavy foot. My buddy that I ride with looked at me. He's like, "You got to tell, you know that?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Anytime you're going to do something really stupid, you look back at me real quick, and then you just go ahead and do it. So the minute I see your head turning, I already know that I'm supposed to be getting faster." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, back in my younger days, I did have I had a naked crotch rocket, a Suzuki. Basically, it was frame and motor, and I got rid of it before I did kill myself because, of course, here I was, a motorcycle cop on something that did this, and, you know, I found myself, you know, doing stupid shit on it, like, you know, driving down the interstate at 130 miles an hour in between 18-wheelers and shit. Right down the center line and stuff like that. I mean, so I was like, because, you know, I ride a motorcycle for a living, so I'm not quite as afraid of it, you know. So I traded it and got me a Harley. It slowed me down.
Yeah. My wife wants to start riding a little bit more with me, so I'm going to upgrade probably in the next 2 years to like a Street Glide or something, get her that nice little queen seat with the cup holder in it.
Well, my personal bikes, they don't make them like it's, but I got an '08 Electra Glide Classic. I bought it brand new. I think it's got 9,000 miles on it.
What was that?
I bought a Electra Glide Classic back in '08, brand new, and I think I got 9,000 miles on it. But when you ride a motorcycle during the day for your job, it's not like what you want to really do on the weekend.
Yeah. That's why one of my friends had asked me, like, if I ever had an interest in becoming a motorman. I was like, no, man. The same reason, you know, I enjoy riding my motorcycle. You know, when the weather's clear and like, I don't know what the hell. The weather's been bipolar like most of the women in Miami. So like 1 minute it's like raining sideways, and the next thing you know, it's like, damn it, it's so clear. I could ride for hours, you know. But,
yeah, well, I'll say this, you know, I wouldn't trade being a motor cop. You know, I've been a motor cop for over 20 years, but it definitely ruins the, maybe once I retire it'll be better, but it definitely has ruined my enjoyment of riding on my days off. Yeah,
I can imagine. I would imagine it's a little similar for canine cops too. You know, like you know, as much as they love their dogs, they're like, you need to get the hell away from me.
Let me alone.
Yeah, there's a reason people don't work with their spouses. You know.
Yeah,
it's like you gotta have a look. Well, you know, in our field,
I don't know how
people end up doing shit they ain't supposed to be doing anyway at work.
Yes, they do. Especially what's that in Tennessee?
It don't matter what state. When you spend anywhere between 40 and 80 hours a week at a job, people are going to be doing stupid shit. And, you know, I tell all my rookies, don't shit where you eat. You know, that includes dispatch, or even don't go hitting on the waitresses at the restaurants, because I'm not going to get service because you ended up cheating on this chick at the restaurant.
You can just say it at the Waffle House. Leave the Waffle House. Leave the Waffle House bitches alone.
You are not. I give them a rule. You're not allowed to eat here. You gotta remember, man. This is Miami, so we have a lot. Especially the area that I'm in, we have a lot of decent places that you can eat for relatively cheap. So I tell people, like, when they're coming in, I'm like, look for where the cops are eating at. That's not fast food. I can promise you, either the food's good for the price, or the food is excellent and the price is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, I told when I was starting out early in my career, we had a administrator guy. He'd tell you straight up. He's like, let me tell you this. Me and this guy did not get along. He's like, you see that badge? He said, that badge get you all kind of pussy. He said, but that pussy is gonna get you badge.
Yes, it will. Shit.
Yes, it will. There's plenty of badge bunnies out there. Leave them alone. I just put a Facebook thing out today, a whole mean thing. Iceman's thought of the day was yesterday. It says, you know what I call our local badge bunny? The squad room.
Lord.
The squad room, because all the cops have been in it.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my feminist wife's going to be up my ass about that one.
So how long you been in law enforcement now?
I have been in law enforcement 26 years, actually longer than that, but just roughly around 26.
So
a little state time, a little city time.
So you're getting close to retirement?
In Florida, we have this beautiful thing called a drop. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, we have drop here.
So yeah, I'm very close to entering the drop.
See, everybody here's like, you can get in a drop. I'm like, well, I don't feel like it. I may not. They're like, you're gonna walk away from all that money? I was like, well, I just might.
I'll be honest with you. I have some friends that walked away from it just so they can, because they were too young to actually go home and just smoke cigars all day. So they decided that they went and kept on with their career in other departments and got a second pension and what have you. And if you're young enough to do that, go for it, man.
No,
but
I'm not quite that young, man. That's start over.
Listen, I'm pushing 50 and my body's beat up. And my buddy, we were joking around. I'm like, listen, I'm all sorts of broken. And my buddy goes, no, we'll say gently used.
I'm beyond gently used also.
I'm like, nah, man, they won't take me as is even.
It's like, I'm coming up on 53, but my back's like 85.
Well, that bike takes a toll on that back, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but I've been over the hood of 2 cars. I've been in 3 total motorcycle wrecks. And I recently got diagnosed with some great genetic stuff from my dad, which me and my sister both have it. Come to find out, if we both got diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. So,
shit, my dad's got that.
So, and I refuse to take any kind of narcotics. And so, the best my doctor does for me right now is I take an anti-inflammatory that basically keeps me upright.
So let me ask you, because I poke around with a little bit of hokey pokey, like the what's it called, yoga and with the needles. Oh my god,
acupuncture.
Yeah, have you tried that?
Well, I don't think yoga's going to help because of my back. It done took away a lot of my flexibility. The acupuncture, I haven't tried it. I know it worked on one of our co-hosts' dog really well.
Because I have a 4.5-inch plate and about 15 screws in my ankle from a drunk skateboarding accident. You know how you tell a redneck story. You know how a redneck story go to the hospital.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. Hold my beer. And my kid got it on video, laughing her ass off, and broke compound fracture, my whole ankle and everything.
Yeah, it's like grown-ups trying to ride a hoverboard.
Shit. I remember one of my kids way back when they first came out. She's like, "Oh, I want one." Went and got one. I was like, I gotta try it. I busted my ass in 2 seconds. But back to what I was saying though, is because I had that plate and everything, I had like some severe pain going on, and let me tell you, it helped. I did about 2-3 sessions, and it helped out, man, like big time.
Maybe something I might have to look into. I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah, it's been around longer than normal medicine, so.
So,
Yeah.
and now you told me before you're an FTO, so you've been FTO for a long time.
I've been doing it. I lost count. I want to say since like 2006, on and off. Every now and then they decided they don't like the way I'm treating the trainees, and they'll tell me I need to take a break for a minute.
So they want you to be the newer, nicer trainer.
I refuse. No, I don't. I won't be the newer, nicer guy. I can't. Listen, they'll tell you. Everyone will tell you that I softened up though, compared to how I used to be as far as an FTO goes. But that has probably more to do with what's happened to me in life to begin with, between all the bad crap that's happened to me.
I used to FTO way back in the day, smaller department stuff. But I mean, ours was I actually started FTOing a guy, and his second night on, he decided he knew more than me already. My lieutenant basically had to call me after we went to a suspicious person noise complaint. He called me on the radio because this was before we all had cell phones. That's how long ago it was. That's how long ago it was.
You had a Nextel.
And but he called me on the radio and says, called my number and was like, did you forget something at that call? I'm like, negative. He's like, so he's like, can you give me a 21? So I called him, stopped and called him. He said, you forgot that dude you were training on the call. He was behind the house when you left. I said, I didn't forget him. I said, I left his ass there on purpose. He's like, why? I said, because he already knows what to do. I mean, he's been telling me how to do my job since I picked him up today on his, this is, his 13th hour ever being a cop. And he knows it all. He's like, well, go back and get him. I said, fuck him. I ain't going back to get him. The lieutenant didn't have to get him. They didn't give him. I told him, I said, I refuse to work with the dude because I'm going to end up, no. I say nothing I can do I'm tell you right now, there's nothing I can do for that boy. So.
Yeah. That sucks when when they're like, they get in that car with you and they're like that, and like, oh, damn it. And I thought I was going to get some help. I had a retired sergeant training. And, I swear to God, I was like, you were a sergeant? And you retired? And he's like, yes, sir. And I'm like, but you don't know how to be a police officer. Like, I'm figuring, oh, man, this is going to be the easiest guy I've ever had to train in my entire career. And, oh, my God, if I wasn't already bald, I would have been pulling my hair out.
Where'd he come from?
We're going to leave that off the radio.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, was it a significant department, or was it like Podunk?
Well, you got to remember, man, I'm in South Florida, so we got 30-something municipalities down here. But, if people found out the name of that department, they wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it was a small department, not a bigger department.
We'll go with one of the mid-level sizes.
Well, maybe he was just skating through them.
He was trying, I guess, and I think that seemed to be his thing. And I'm not big on skating.
Oh no!
Unless there's beer involved.
When I switched departments, which has only been once in my entire career, and when I went to when I left the department, I've been with one department for 23 and a half years, and went to the other one. My FTO period was 2 days. And they were like, the guy they put me with, first day there, I was we got a crash. I was working the crash. Of course, I was a sergeant over motor division, which that's one of our main jobs, was crashes and stuff.
Yeah.
In traffic. And the new sergeant that I'm working, he comes and asks the guy that I'm riding with, he's like, well, how'd he do? And he's told me, he's like, well, he showed me 2 things I've been doing wrong on the crash report. So, well, part of my job was going over crash reports to approve them.
I would imagine so. That's like, listen, that's part of my biggest fear about maybe changing departments instead of like staying retired, is getting some 25-year-old kid trying to teach me about police work that I've been doing in Miami for 20-something years. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll say this. Not. I want everybody out there listening to say, "Oh, he's bashing." I'm not bashing. But I'm gonna say the majority. Not they do have, but the majority of a lot of these new younger cops coming up are different from when I came up. The thought process is different and everything else.
Oh,
it's just
we call it the Y generation, man. Why?
Yeah.
And it's like, and listen, I get it. You know, because I got a bunch of kids. So some of them are the same age as these kids I'm training. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, I deal with this guy all day, and now I'm going to go home and deal with my son who's a smaller version of him.
It's like,
and try not to.
It's like you don't need to know. You know, it's like, well, why we got to go do this? Because that's what we were told to do. As long as it's not illegal, you don't even have to know why. Why? Because, I don't know, because that's what they told you to go do. And a lot of times it's going to be shit that you don't want to do. But you just go do it.
Exactly.
That's why. I do shit all the time still that I don't want to do. But I don't ask why because I know why. Or, you know, I work for a sheriff's office. So if they tell me go do this, and I'm like, fuck, I already know why. Because I work for a man that has to be reelected. So I know why I'm going to do certain stuff, and it's because it's got to keep people happy so they'll vote for you. I understand that, so I just go do it and smile.
Yeah, you're getting paid to do something easy. Go ahead and take care of it real quick and easy. Ain't no big deal.
The pay's the same.
The other thing that we're coming into is the entitlement, man. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you guys get it over there, but we got people that are getting hired on at 23 years old, 24, 25 years old, first time ever being a cop, and they're like, so how do I get Christmas off?
Yeah.
Oh, you pray that you're on FTO with an FTO that has Christmas off or those days off. It don't work that way, you know?
Or they take off because they get a sniffle.
Oh, shit, man.
No.
They call up sick for everything.
Oh. This was years ago. We were running some funerals. It was a busy day. We were running a funeral. We stopped to eat. I cracked one of my molars way in the back or something.
Oh.
Anyway, I cracked a tooth. All right. So I exposed a nerve. Went and ran another funeral with this exposed nerve with wind blowing in my face. Well, of course, you know, wind and exposed nerve on your tooth don't feel good. So I'm running this funeral, just tears pouring out of my face, you know, from just. So as soon as we stopped the funeral, I stopped at the first dentist office I came to. And they had an opening. They went in there. They pulled the tooth.
Oh.
They pulled the tooth, packed it with cotton, and I still made it back for the next funeral. I was spitting blood, but I still made it back and still ran that last funeral with my guys.
Lord Almighty.
Now, most, especially these new guys, they would have been at home.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
And it's just that's I wasn't raised like that.
Now, most our generation, I think, is falling to the wayside a little bit, you know, because we had a lot of the suck it up buttercup stuff, and I agree with most of it. Don't get me wrong, you know, because I do a whole lot of wellness instruction nowadays, and the amount of so for me, I have no problem with like physical suck it up, you know, like listen, you hit, get the fuck back up. It's the fight of your life. Every time we're involved in something and you're hurt, that is the fight for your life. You need to get the hell up, stand up, and do what you got to do. You know, because we're not going to be hearing about you on the news tonight. But, you know, I have found that some of the stuff that we deal with, it screws you up mentally, man. And like I don't know about you, but I got a bunch of kid deaths under my belt. and it sucks.
That's the worst part of it.
And that's I told you a little bit about myself earlier, and once again we were joking around, and I said I'm gonna bring it to a little depression, but it's still I went through a whole phase where I was like a country song, living in a trailer, my truck broke down, separated, and drinking, and decided that my gun was the answer one night. Thankfully I didn't pull the trigger. Took me about 45 minutes to put it away, but I come to do a little bit of research and come to find out, there was all the stuff that we deal with at work and at home, and how we deal with it at home that led me to that place. So I stopped going to, the reason I went down that road with you just now was I kind of have stepped away from the whole suck it up buttercup. Like, listen, if you're on a scene and it's fucking with you for whatever reason, you just need to let me know. And I deal with that with my trainees. They're like, listen, we're going, especially if I know we're going to a jacked up call, like a kid spread across 2 lanes of traffic. Listen, this is going to be really jacked up, kid. After we're done, I said, we got a job to do. We're going to go do our job. But after we're done doing our job, if you need to talk to me about it, you need to talk to me about it. Because you don't need to be taking that shit home.
That's correct.
I said, in the end, though, people are still going to take it home, but it will be a little bit less of a weight to bring home with you.
No, so they don't tell a lot of these young recruits. It's not popular to say. It's like, look, you're gonna dream about, you're gonna do shit. You're gonna dream about it. Well, I'll say dream about it. You're gonna have nightmares. That's gonna wake you up. Your wife or spouse or whatever significant other is going to wake you up. Are you going to wake them up because you're trying to arrest them in your sleep, or you're going to see stuff that you're going to see on and off for the rest of your life, or you could be watching a TV show or a movie, and something happens on there that triggers an incident that you thought you had forgot about.
There's shit. Holiday commercials, brother. Holiday commercials have you crying, and you're like, what the fuck am I crying about?
So, yeah. And they need to go ahead and say, like I told them, I'll say this, be on serious stuff. The problem is a lot of time in law enforcement, if you see one of your brothers or sisters or whatever, a colleague, whatever, struggling with something, or let's say they had the balls to say, look, I need a few days off, I need some time off, get my head screwed on straight. Most of the time, all the other cops will not talk to them like they have the plague. That's not what they need. Okay.
No,
they don't need you being. They're not the plague, because you could be in the same situation. We had many years ago, they had a guy that I worked with, friends with, and he ended up going on, he took some time off because of some emotional stuff he was going through. And he'll tell you, I was the only one that would call and check on him. Everybody else treated him like he had, COVID or something.
That's a goddamn shame. Honestly, my department, my area, I'm associated with approximately 3 people that committed or took their own lives. One of them was retired, one of them wasn't. One of them, his story was the same story as mine, except I won the battle with my gun. He didn't, and I was an associate of his for most of the same amount of time. Well, back then it would have been roughly around the same amount of time. But his story was relatively similar to my own personal story about why I almost took my life. So, and then, some other stuff happened, and I got training. I got talked, like I had a shit show of an EAP that I call it EAP with my gun in my hand. They put me on hold.
Wow.
They gave me 2 numbers to call in the morning. I said, really? All right.
Here's an apple. Call us tomorrow.
Here, take a couple Tylenol. Call back in the morning. Let's see how you're doing.
Wow.
And so, I started a new journey that way. Now I'm going back to school to help people with trauma and shit, and work with first responders and vets.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of trauma. Like I said, that's unfortunately, it's one of the least talked about aspects of the job. Nobody,
We're not going to sit there and go, it's a glorious job as you look at a 3-year-old kid that is gutted in a car.
Yep.
And then next day your daughter gets born, or you have a daughter, or a son with some kind of defect, and you go to a call like if you have a kid with autism, kids with autism are attracted to water. Well, shit, this is Miami, ain't nothing but water here. You end up with a drowned kid, and you're like, shit, that could have been my kid.
Oh, I've experienced. You have to. I'll tell everybody when you have to deal with a child's death, especially a violent death, and you have a kid at home the same exact age, and you come home and you're hugging the kid, give them a little more attention or whatever. They're not. You don't want to tell them why, but it's like because the whole time you're there, having to take pictures or whatever. This dead kid who's like 5 and had been run over twice, and you keep seeing your kid and stuff like that. Or there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it's just.
No, listen. I am so sorry that I did not mean to take a turn into the dark on this interview, man.
No, it's fine. Everybody needs to hear about it.
You wanted to talk about some funny shit too. I got that too, but I don't know how I end up. This is the stuff that I talk about on a normal, though. That's why I always have a tendency of going this route.
No, it's completely fine. The listeners have to. Yeah. I mean, they know I try to keep it lighthearted, but this is part of it also. I guess me being a jokester or whatever, that's my way of dealing with a lot of the shit. I'm lucky enough now that I don't have the amount of nightmares that I used to have, because my wife could tell you that I used to have nightmare. I don't know if you want to call them night terrors or whatever. When you close your eyes. And that's why I'm lucky enough I didn't turn. I mean, I like to have a drink every now and then, but I didn't turn the. That's why a lot of cops turn to alcohol too heavy. So, so they can rest or whatever like that, because, like I said,
if I have a bad day, I make it a point to not drink. I make it like if my wife knows I'm having a bad day, she'll be like, she doesn't do it like with the intention of like trying to inform her a problem. She's like, hey, would you like me to make you, some bourbon or something, a glass of bourbon or something? I'm like, no, it's that kind of thing. She's like, oh, okay. Well, and then she knows that I might be a little edgy, I might be a little touchy, I might be a son of a bitch by the time I get home. And we try to, we have a really good communication system between my wife and I. We really keep our lines of communication open, and what's going on, what's in my head, what's in her head. So that we know where each other stands that day. If one of us needs something.
Well, it's important. If you want to keep your marriage together in this line of work, you better learn how to communicate. My wife still, I'm that old school guy. So me communicating like that is still an issue with me, and she would gladly tell you that. She's like, you don't ever talk. You don't say nothing. She's like, something's on your mind or something's bothering you. You don't say a damn word about it, because it'll eventually come out. Because we'll end up, let's say she's doing something that's really perturbing me or whatever. I won't say nothing. I'm not going to bitch. I ain't going to complain. I'm going to keep doing it until eventually, it might be 6 months from now, it's eventually going to come out.
Yeah.
And it's not going to come out as the discussion at this point now, because I'm pissed off. So try to talk. If something's on your mind, you need to talk about it.
I would tell you right now, vulnerability for people in our line of work, first responders in general, man, vulnerability is a bitch. Because we're so used to having our armor on all the time and wall up, like we ain't gonna talk about this shit because I don't want to deal with it. Your brain is kind of fucked up that way that you may not want to deal with it, but your brain's gonna make you deal with it one way or the other. Whether it's when you pissed off or when you decide to, have a nice little night terror about it. Because I just, after my last incident, where I nearly died a couple of times on the table, I want to say it's been, and it's coming up on, it's the 2-year anniversary this past Saturday. So,
you want to tell them about that?
yeah, well, anyone that knows me is going to know me.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't mind. I had a trainee I had just got back to the road after about, being off of it for a few years for heart issues, and had a trainee first day with me, and I got a lady with a hit and run, and I was like, oh, hey, you need to step out your car, and she decided that she wanted to play Grand Theft Auto, and they were able to get my DNA off the hood of the car. I had some cracked and broken ribs and nice little internal bleed on my hip, and I still have a hematoma for it, or hematomato as my friend likes to call it. And she got, I didn't tell you the best part of that, was that she claimed she was having a schizophrenic attack and got 5 years probation for attempted murder, which they dropped down to ag bat, which they then dropped down to probation. God bless Dade County.
You got to love it. I mean, just but
you ain't much to say on that, man.
No, it's that's why you read these news stories. People are like, yeah, I hope they throw the book out. It's like you're reading a news article, but you don't realize what happens, afterwards. That because a lot of these they don't want to spend the money to take it to trial. And they just want to make sure that they get a win on something every time. So they'll plead they'll plead something down that you could get life imprisonment for, down to a slap on the wrist, because it clears it off their case logs, and plus it shows a win. It shows it's a check in the win column.
Yeah, and you get everyone coming in. Oh, we're going to take care of you once you're back to heal to being normal and everything. In my ass. Here I am sweating my ass off on the road again, but it is what it is, man. There's parts of me that love the road, and there's parts of me that hate the road. At some point, you become this relationship we have with this career is like a toxic relationship, man. We love the job. We got into the job because we love it, and we stay in the job because we love it. But then there's days where we're like, God damn, I hate this job. I wish I could just burn this uniform and be done with it.
Makes you cynical.
And it's severely, man. It turns you into, to be honest with you, it turns you into an asshole. Because you don't like people. And then when you get the little old lady that comes up to you on your bike and says, "Hey, officer, I hope you have a great day," you're like, "Damn it, woman, you're making me like people again." I get people coming up and chatting with me, and my wife loves to call me officer friendly because I'll sit there and put the smile on and everything like that. And I love it when a kid comes up and is like, "Oh, and I love doing all sorts of kid events and shit like that, and family events, and sitting there BSing with people in the community and having a good day." But a lot. Here's the fun part: is like a lot of officers will never get recognized. I will tell you, the majority of officers that are great officers will never be recognized for being pillars in their community that they work in.
Nope.
Because you will never see it on social media.
I think that's not getting good clicks.
And I explain that to my trainees. Like, listen, if you go out there taking the picture to show that you're out there doing something, you're not doing it for that person. You're doing it for yourself.
Yep.
And like, dude, I've bought guys. I had a shoplifter with a felony history and of stealing and everything, and he got popped shoplifting diapers. Oh, he goes, dude, I got a history. I got a baby at home, and how old's your baby? Oh, it's 6 months old, and we got no diapers. I barely got food. Dude, I dropped $150 on that guy that night. I paid for his diapers. I paid for the baby's food. I even had the wife come in with the baby, and I'm like, here, take this. He's still getting arrested, but take this home,
Oh, it's
Shit like that.
that's the stuff that the general public don't hear about and will never hear about it. I did some stuff the other day on a call. It wasn't $150, but it was something. It's like I ain't.
Listen, that was a rare case, dude.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm good for a $10-20 here. You know?
But I'm just saying. They had a rookie cop there. The guy sergeant on shift, he showed up, which me and him known each other forever. And he's like, "Oh, he did this," and he was like, "Oh, cool." If he wouldn't have been there and it wouldn't have said nothing, I mean, because I'm not out there trying to be on the news as Mr. Good Guy.
Yeah, I
do it because that's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
People are supposed to help people, It's like, but you do have, if anybody's out there and wants to gets in law enforcement, it's like, well, I did this and then, or it's one of them, and I'm going to tell you, every department has them. Every department has them.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have departments that they're always taking pictures of what they're doing, of who they helped, and this and that and stuff, and sending it to admin and stuff like that. Every department has them.
You do know there's a social media crew now, like in most departments. They have the whole unit that's the social media unit. I'm not joking. That's a South Florida thing, man. Between LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, bro, they got more pictures on the internet than if they were politicians. And I'm like, that's not what police work's about. I get that you need the good PR. I get that you need, this kind of things to happen every now and then. But I'm going to tell you right now, the funny part is this: it's the scariest looking cops, the guys with all the tattoos, that are doing all the good shit that nobody wants to see on social media.
Yeah.
It's those old ugly bastards that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting that don't look pretty enough to be on Instagram,
Yeah, they don't want to put my mug up there because they'll be like, damn, look at that ugly ass old dude.
Yeah, exactly. And between us and how we're cursing and everything, yeah, we're not the public figures. I get it. We're not great for public figures, but God damn it, if a little recognition wouldn't kill us, but we don't need it. We don't need it. But I don't even remember where the hell we were going with that.
I don't know. We were just talking about recognition. Now
we're talking about that.
There's stuff, I've done through my career that I've seen people get medals for doing less than, and I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, really?
But, I know what I wanted to tell you though. Is like my favorite undercover thing to do for people was back in the day when I was on midnight. Me and my partner, because we were junior enough that we couldn't get the holidays off per se. But what we do is we'd go on Christmas Eve or something like that, we'd go to Denny's. And when we see a family with the kids and everything like that, listen, you could tell most times when someone's struggling anyway.
Yeah.
And you could tell that was kind of a big, and every year you can always find at least 1 to 2 families in the Denny's on Christmas Eve because they didn't have a home meal to cook or what have you.
They got 3 people sharing one plate.
Yeah, my partner and I would sit there and give the waitress enough money to cover their tab, a little bit extra, and dessert for the family. And then we immediately walk right the hell out. And that would be it. We'd never see him again, never say anything. We'd see the waitress again because we get our coffee there at least twice a week. And she'd be like, hey, that family really likes what y'all did. They really appreciated it. I'm like, all right, cool. As long as they weren't assholes about it, we're good.
Man.
And they're like, dude.
Fuck 12.
Dude, listen, I bought a homeless guy a hamburger one time. He's like, you could give me a cheeseburger? I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I'd have been like, give me that shit back.
Hey, kiss my ass.
Yeah, because
Go in there and ask him for a slice of cheese.
yeah, everybody, it's like they're like, oh, well, I feel so sorry for him, And some of them people, it's like the ones that have like signs, "I'll work for food." I'm like, go ask them. Say, look, I'll give you $20 if you come cut my grass for me, and see what they tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, see what they tell you. They don't want to work. Some of them you got to watch. Some of them got more money than you got.
Let me tell you something. The quickest way to bust them is watch their shoes. Look at their shoes, man. And in Miami, it's just nothing but a scam. You got the same sign on 3 different corners with 3 different pregnant females. And you're like, how the hell did y'all coordinate this? You got every intersection covered with the same sign and a pregnant female.
I think I haven't read it in a long time. It was years ago. But they said people out there can average like $40 an hour.
No, that's about right. The last time I had to deal with one of these guys, seniority has some privileges, Like, I'll let the rookies deal with them. But the last time, a couple of years back, I had patted one guy down, and he had more money in his pocket than I had in my bank account. And I was like, what the hell? And he's like, it was a good day. I'm like, get the hell, it's like, come on.
As he walks 2 blocks to get in his Mercedes, drive off.
That's how the news has caught people like that, getting in their Mercedes and going to a house that's like well-off neighborhood and such. I've seen a couple of news stories. It's been a minute since they've done any, but
well, one of our co-hosts, Freebird, he never, believe it or not, he was a reserve for 10 years, but he never got any naked calls. You got any good naked people you have to deal with?
If you've been in law enforcement long enough, there's no such thing as a good naked call. But I will preface this by saying this is Miami, and we have had one incident where one of the strip clubs had a fire alarm go off at 2 a.m, and I had to redirect traffic because of so many cars almost getting into accidents because of girls out there in bikinis and lingerie on the street corner.
Really?
Like,
what, naked?
It was a high-end club.
Yeah.
It's a high-end club on a busy intersection. We're like, oh, hell no. But I will give you one of my worst ones was a one-legged, naked man that was probably on the better half 240, that was maybe about 5 foot, missing most of his teeth, flopping around in the summer on the street trying to bite us. And we're like, dude, aren't you in pain? He's like, screaming and doing his thing, trying to snag us with one of his teeth. That's the kind of naked calls that we get down here. It's like, there is no such thing. Like I said, and his wheelchair was turned over. We had a busy intersection stopped up because of the whole damn thing.
Can't get him back in the wheelchair because he's wanting to bite.
They're like, and it wasn't my jurisdiction because the jurisdictions are split by streets down here sometimes, and it belongs to another jurisdiction. They're like, "Hey, can you tase him or something?" Hell no, I can't tase him. That belongs to you, man. And I said, I'll stand by with my gloves on, and if he calms down long enough, we'll put him in the chair with you.
And if he starts flopping towards my jurisdiction, I'm going to get a broom and poke him back in here.
Oh, no. For him to get to where we were at, he had to do a whole lot of rolling. He would have had to go about 4 lanes. And I was like, nope. You got to stay over here and, balls are sizzling like bacon on the concrete.
It is amazing how many handicapped type people like that you see that are like street people.
I will say I had this one rookie that I wanted to. We down here we call them Baker Acts, where they're mentally ill and they have to go to a hospital.
Yeah.
So we got a call for a Baker Act on midnights one night, and for whatever reason, I'm like a shit magnet when it comes to Baker Act, and that term will become literal in about 3 seconds. We get this Baker Act with and I'm my trainee, and he's like, this is back when we had Crown Vics. And he goes, sir, what do I do? You cuff him and put him in the back of the car. And the guy decided, he's covered in shit. So what does my rookie do? And, what do all senior officers do on a call? We stand around and shoot the shit.
Yeah.
I told my rookie, get him in the car, run him, start the report, whatever, and we'll take off to the hospital. What does my rookie decide not to do? He decides not to roll down the damn windows.
God.
And I opened that car door and it hit me square in the face. And I looked at him like, why are the windows up? And why are you not puking? He's like, sir, I thought you wanted me to deal with it. I'm like, no human should have to deal with this. Put my windows down. We're leaving. I said, you finish your report because now I ain't getting in the car for another minute or two. I was like, oh my God.
Gosh, why?
I got one shit story that's worse than that, though. We literally, I don't know why we got onto shit, so now I'm going to stick to one more shit story for you.
Go ahead.
We had a trainee, for lack of a better term, people from another agency type thing, trying to learn about police work in Florida. So we go to a call, and it went out as a medical call. So, okay, we'll go. No one tells me anything about the call. They're like, hey, you need to get over here. I'm like, all right. They're like, no, I'm not telling you shit. Just get over here. It's on this floor. I get up, the elevator's open, and the smell hits me. I'm like, what the fuck? And we walk down the hall, and I can see a couple of cops just hanging outside, and EMS is going back and forth, just shaking their head. And apparently one of our mentally challenged friends decided to take a small umbrella, those little compact ones that you can get like the size of your palm.
Went in pocket with you.
Yeah, it went to a prison pocket. And had issues on the way out because of the pointy things. The pointy parts of the umbrella. So I walk and I just glance and I see blood and feces everywhere. And I'm just like, I look at the kid that's riding with me and I go, you want to be a cop? Go in there and help them with whatever they need. Just make sure you don't step in nothing and wear gloves. I'm going to be in the hallway. And he's like, but sir, I'm like, nope, just listen to this. And I looked at one of the junior guys over there. I'm like, hey, you're in charge of this kid. I'm outside, man. I can't deal with this.
It makes you want to think like one of them catfish that can get in your pee hole or something. That they go in, but when they go out, the barbs. Yeah. Pretty much. That's what happened to this guy's rectum. Damn near killed him. Well, at least they didn't try to open it.
Well, that's the problem, like he was pulling it out. I guess he hit the button or something. I didn't get the full story. I didn't need it.
It's like
the scene was enough. The scene was enough for me,
It's like, why would you stick an umbrella up your ass?
Yeah, dude. Listen, I've seen the end result. It ain't a pretty thing, man.
It was. I got this mental picture. It was bad.
I will give you a mental picture that will create you to have nightmares.
What's that?
We had a call at the hospital. Guys, we're backing up another agency reference a homicide investigation. And this guy was like supposedly, quote unquote, overdosed on something and wasn't waking up. Meanwhile, he's brushing our hands away from the sternum rub. Apparently, you don't fuck with Miami nurses because this nurse got really pissed off with this kid and decided to cath him. Now, she warns, because there's like 5 of us, and we're all guys, and we're all standing around the bed like, what the hell, man? Get this. She's like, listen, I'm about to do something that is going to make every one of you cringe. If you want to leave, leave now. She warns us. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm intrigued. She's like, no, you don't want to see this. And I'm like, yeah, I do. She's like, all right. She lifts this guy's gown up, grabs his crank, and grabs the cath. And the assisting nurse goes, you want some lube? Nope. And I'm going to give a sound effect for you. You hear that? That's all you heard was her slamming her fist with the cap into this guy's dick. And this guy shot up like if he was the rising dead, the waking. We're just like, oh, shit.
That woke him up. Then
She's like, you guys can question him now. And we're like, oh, I have so many questions about ethics.
Ethics.
And I was like, okay, not my jurisdiction, not my problem, getting the hell on out.
Yeah, it's like you just slam that in that dude's dick.
Oh, my God, when she did that, let me tell you something. There was audible gasps from every one of the cops that were standing around. We were just like, and the other nurse was like, we kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. He's awake now.
Yeah, I ain't never pissing off a nurse.
That's why I try not to write nurses' tickets.
Listen, I will never write a nurse ticket. I'll do my best to never write teacher tickets.
Teachers have lost it with
I don't
me.
Some days, it depends on the teacher,
I don't know. Maybe all teachers. I'm not down on all the teachers, but the majority of teachers that I pull over are just like bitches.
Listen, once again, I'm not a motor cop. Seniority has its privileges. If I pull somebody over, they did something really damn stupid. It's like I've gotten to that age. I've gotten to that age where it's like, all right, I'm kind of easing off. Like you had to almost hit me or do something. Like I said, you had to do something egregious. However they say the damn word, and it's like I'm looking like an idiot if I don't pull you over. So even then, I pulled over a kid that was doing wheelies on his motorcycle, and he actually stopped. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I gave him a ticket. It's not a big deal. I gave him a ticket. We have careless and reckless, and one of them's criminal, one's not. So I gave him a non-criminal. We go to court, and he's like, hey, he pulls me aside. What if I argued that what I was doing was criminal? I said, do me a favor, just shut the fuck up and don't breathe.
Why would you do that, you dumbass?
I said, don't breathe. I will take care of it. Don't say a word. I'm going to take care of this. You were kind enough to stop. You were respectful. You ain't kill nobody. You didn't get all stupid with your bike. And I haven't seen you in 6 months. I'll take care of the damn ticket. Don't do it again in my city, please. He's like, all right, no problem. I'll tell my crew. I'm like, no, don't tell your crew. Don't tell your crew shit.
Dumbass.
I don't want to see none of these people in my... dude, let me tell you something. The Miami boys come flying through here every now and then.
So they do them street takeover crap.
Oh my God, I can't stand it, man. I do my best not to work on those days.
It's like, it's like you don't realize. I don't think they care, but they don't think. It's like you're out thinking you're having fun. You're just, pissing other. Like let's say I was going somewhere with my family. Now you done fucked it all up. I'm stuck in traffic because of you.
Let me tell you something. Now with the concealed carry stuff, I expect a couple of Wild West shows here and there from time to time. Especially because sometimes you'll see them, if you watch on the video reels here and there on social media, they'll gather up on a whole car, no matter if there's a family in there or not.
Oh, I've seen them because I told my wife, I said, if that ever happens to me or us, be prepared because I'm going to have to go to court because as soon as somebody gets threatening towards me, because if I got that many people around me, I'm feeling pretty nervous at this point.
Yeah, and especially if they start banging on your window and your kid's in the car. Because I got a teenage kid, and if he's in the car with me, or if my wife's in the car with me and all that, listen, you're putting everyone in a dangerous situation.
Yep. Because they're stupid. Of course, well, this new generation.
Yeah.
I went shopping with the wife yesterday, which she was trying on some clothes. This has nothing to do with law enforcement, but just on my mind. We're at a store, and of course, with the younger girls, I'm assuming they're probably 19, 20ish, that age range.
Yeah.
Well, of course, me being a cop, I'm over listening to the conversation. Excuse me. These were two employees, and when my wife walked out, she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I think I've lost several brain cells because I was just eavesdropping on their conversation." This one girl was like, she was like, "Yes, like I was going to the gym and and some of these machines are like, they're so intimidating, but you can scan the thing on it, and watch videos in this and in something in Snap and I mean, she must have said like 1,000,000 words in like 2 minutes, and she said in probably 500,000 of them were likes." And it's like, I was like, oh my God, this is the generation. This is the future right here.
You ever seen the movie Billy Madison?
Yeah.
That where they do the quiz and it's like everyone that has heard this conversation, however it goes, is now even worse off for hearing your answer.
And
may God have mercy on your soul.
I'm looking at this girl and I'm thinking, please don't ever have children. You're just, no.
Whatever you do,
no.
don't breed. Please.
Yeah, it's like don't have children. Like, okay, it's like,
oh my God! Listen, that's every day, man.
I guess I'm just turning into that old grumpy old man now, I guess.
Listen, I am now that grumpy old man of get the hell off my yard and
get off my grass.
Get off my grass. Y'all kids. I'm trying to be that cool grandpa, but I'm gonna tell you right now, before I even become a grandpa, it's gonna be a rough little transition for me.
I'm not the cool grandpa. I thought I was gonna be it, but I'm not. It's like I painted a wall one time. Grandkids come over and grandson leaned on the wall and put his foot on the wall. I said, "Boy, if you don't take your foot off that wall, I'm gonna break your ankle." I spent the last 2 days painting this living room over, and I don't need no damn feet marks. So, let
me tell you something.
They just kind of look at me like, Papa's crazy.
My kids look at me like, there's no way Papa was like that. My old man. Listen, I was not a good kid. I was not a bad kid. I just didn't get caught a whole lot. But when I did get caught, I got my ass whooped a few times. And my kids are like, Grandpa would never do this. And I looked at my 14-year-old, he's got a little bit of a, attitude, this, that, and the other. But my old man, he's a vet, PTSD'd out a little bit. And he's got some family up in the coast of North Carolina, actually closer to the Sandhills. So my son's like, oh, maybe I can go a few weeks up and live with him. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. You're going to go stay with your grandfather and your relatives up in the North Carolina area. And you're going to learn a thing or three before you come home.
Did he go?
And he's like, really? And don't get me wrong, he's gonna have fun. They're gonna have him out on the dirt bikes and the ATVs and all that kind of shit. But he's around here. He's all around his sisters. They're not putting hands on like we were when we were growing up. But up there, his cousins will go hands on if you decide to be a little punk ass about something.
Well, that's what's good. Because kids nowadays, with all this zero tolerance stuff, they don't know what it's like to get punched in the face.
I had a friend of mine, a sergeant from another department, telling me He was doing an interview for recruits and for hiring, and he's like, you're not gonna believe the stuff I gotta tell you. You know, every scenario I'm gonna tell you right now is God's honest truth. And I said, how bad can it be? He goes, I have one guy that cannot speak English. I went, what? I said, how did he even make the appointment? He goes, bro, most of the people, we all speak Spanish here, but like he did not, you know, we don't have a problem if you speak Spanish. We don't even have a problem, you know, with, you know, your background being that way. If you're Cuban, you know, in Miami, almost everyone's Cuban.
Yeah, but you still have to speak English.
That was the part. The guy's like, no, you know, I don't know English, nada. And the guy's like, you know, have a nice day. Next guy comes in. The next guy comes in and goes, so tell me about a confrontation that you've been in. The kid's like, you mean like a fight? And I'm like, the guy's like, yeah, like a fight. He goes, well, I was playing Fortnite. And he's like, wait, what? He goes, I was playing Fortnite, and I got into an argument with another player, and I told him, you know, oh, what's it about? And the sergeant's like, well, he goes, so that to you is a confrontation? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm not going to say it's not a confrontation, but I'm talking about a physical altercation, maybe. And the guy's like, no, I've never been in a fight. And I stay home and play Fortnite so I don't get in trouble. We're like, oh, hell.
0 people skills.
Oh, none of them had. When we were coming up as cops, you wrote everything down, right?
Oh, yeah.
You pen and paper as best you can, everything, quickly as you can. When you're training these kids now, they bust out that phone and take pictures of everything. And
Yeah,
I'm like, do you have a copy?
They don't carry like tablets no more.
The whippets. I make them carry a whippet. You know, like, hey, come on, pen and paper. Everything on pen and paper. Like, that's the only way you're gonna learn how to do this.
Well, hell, half the kids can't even write cursive or read it,
or drive stick shift.
Yeah, or drive a stick.
You talk about popping a stick shift into gear while you're push starting it so that because the battery was dead?
Oh, yeah. Well, my first car was an old 4-speed.
Mine was an MG midget.
So it's like, oh, yeah, there's plenty of times pushing the car, popping the clutch. Well, my personal car, I still got a 6-speed manual transmission in it. And, you know, a lot of people's like, it's like, if I got the top down or off of it or something, they're like, so I said, ain't nobody can drive the damn thing. 90% of the public can't even drive it. So.
Shit. And I'll be honest with you, in Miami, owning a stick shift, oh, you're going to kill yourself between it. You get stuck in one traffic jam, you're like, oh, for the love of God, just go.
It's like I looked at one car and it's like it don't even, you know, at the time, like some of them, cars don't even come with, you know, manual transmission. You don't have the option. They're like, oh, it's got paddle shifters. I'm like, that's not shifting. You don't get it. That's not shifting.
Yeah,
you can't.
My wife got a Mercedes and I accidentally hit it. And I was like, what the fuck?
I tried paddle shifting shit, and I'm like, this is not shifting. There's no clutch. You can't feel the car. When my car is a 6-speed manual, with my hands on that shifter, I don't have to look at the RPMs. I can hear it and I can feel it. I can feel it in that shifter and stuff when I need to shift. Paddle shifting is like playing PlayStation and driving at the same time.
Shit, did you see that trailer for the new movie coming out, that Gran Turismo?
No.
So apparently, okay, so you got me thinking about, playing a PlayStation, right? I'm thinking, so I saw a trailer for this movie coming out called Gran Turismo, which is a video game. Apparently, Nissan took a kid that was playing that game so well and like put like 5 kids or something like that into actual cars, and these kids one of them at least became professional. For us, growing up, that movie was a space movie. What the hell was that space movie? where the kid was living in a trailer park and he scored a high score.
Starship Trooper or something like that.
Not Starship Troopers. That was a different one. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
The Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter. Yeah, that's correct.
You know, he played a video game and ended up in the... I was like, damn. They took Last Starfighter and made it real with a car racing game.
Yeah, it's just way different now.
Oh, shit.
Police academies, they like some of them here. I've heard, they're not allowed to get in their face and scream at them as much as they used to because people's feelings get hurt.
They don't get pepper sprayed anymore.
What?
We got my class was one of the last ones to get hosed, and that was 20 years ago. Like your face was orange. Then they put a dot on their forehead while they're wearing glasses.
A dot.
Like a little spray dot on their forehead, like a quick spray. Excuse me. And somebody told me there was 1 or 2 classes that went through without getting any spray.
See, but to me, that's stupid. Because the first time you have to use it on the street, because you know as well as I know, if you use this on the street, you're going to get some on you. Period.
Let me tell you something. We don't even carry that shit anymore.
See,
they just give us. I got a baton, a taser, and that's it.
Oh, I have my taser. I ain't never carried a stick. I have my taser in my. We use Freeze Plus P with your OCCS, and I took my taser off and put it up in my unit, and I still carry gas.
Listen. Every time I have to use that damn thing, it has never worked. And
what, the taser?
It connects, and the guy's like, and then he rolls or something. And dude, I've never had any kind of good luck with a taser.
Well, people don't realize taser is only 40% effective.
Yeah, well, shit, I've had it 0% effective, and I've tased a few people. Out of the few people, maybe one of them it worked on, and so I don't even depend on that thing.
But if I spray you, it's about 98% effective.
Listen, the only time that we might be able to get some spray is during like big event weekends where we're gonna have large crowds everywhere, and I'll tell you right now. Spray the crowd works wonders.
I love spray. Like I said, I've never tased anybody. I'm taser certified. I have a taser. I don't even carry it on my belt. It's like I noticed. Well, a lot of these police shootings, bad and good on both sides. I think a lot of it would not have happened if cops getting themselves shot and killed if they stop relying on that taser too much.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them where they pull that taser out when they should be pulling a good firearm out.
Yeah, that might be something to be said for that. I'll tell you, I've seen we tried, doing the training officer stuff. We try to talk to these kids about that, like, listen, deadly force is deadly force is deadly force. There's only it's rare when you have to go with less lethal. In the situations where the deadly force is called for, like, listen, everyone and their mother's going to say, well, why couldn't you tase them? Dude, I had to argue something. I'm doing this 20 years. Somebody asked me, well, why can't you just shoot him in the leg? Really? I'm like, you know me this many years, and you know all my incidences, and you gonna ask me about shooting somebody in the leg?
Shoot him in the leg. It's like, okay, Joe Biden.
Maybe I should have. Maybe the lady that ran me over, I should have shot her car a couple of times. No, it don't work that way. When your heart's doing 150 beats and you're trying to make sure you don't die, good luck on that pinpoint aiming for me.
Oh, yeah. And they don't realize the general public especially. You can take I don't know what y'all scoring thing is, but you can take a perfect shooter, 100% shooter on the range, and as soon as that stressful situation shows up, he's probably down to about 70%. So if you take an average shooter on the range, when the pucker factor hits, he's going from average shooting probably down to about 40% accuracy compared to where he was at.
I trust a cop with a dirty uniform way more than I trust a cop with a clean uniform. That's got his shit shiny every day. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're good cops, but the guy that's kind of got a little rip here or part of his name tag missing or whatever, that to me looks like experience.
The old salty guy.
Yeah, it don't even have to be that old, Someone's been listen, you get experience within 5 years down here. You can hang with the old dogs within 5 years if you, depending on where you're working at. Because shit, I was in a police involved in my first 2 weeks of FTO. First 2 weeks on the job here, I was kicking in doors, chasing guys with guns, and involved in backing up a guy on a police involved that happened around the corner from me. My FTO looked at me and goes, "You do realize you have gained more experience in 2 weeks than some people in they're having their whole career in this department."
Well, you got go-getters, and then you got the ones that just want to.
Well, it's not even so much a go-getter. You listen. If you want to work, you can find work. If you want to hunt, the narcotics, you can go find the narcotics. If it's in you to find something, you can go find it, or you can just be a shit magnet, and it will come to you no matter what.
Oh yeah. Well, we could probably talk forever. Let me shut this down. Don't hang up. We appreciate you coming. You're more than welcome to come back whenever you want, especially once you start up the thing you're talking about starting up at. So everybody, you know how it goes. Like I said, if you want more, go join the Patreon. If not, stick around for the free stuff. Of course, we appreciate everybody out there. Let me shout the Patreons out. I almost forgot to do that for y'all. Shout the crew members out. We got our full crew member, Mr. John D. He's a full crew member. We got Dan Carlson with Burley Boards. Y'all go check out him. Finally got him a storefront. We got T-Bird. We got Mr. Jim Pocrant from the Short Track Guys podcast. If y'all like racetrack, short tracks, y'all go listen to his podcast. Mr. Hoppy Hobson, our truck driving friend. Mr. Blake Walker. We got A.A. Ron from the I Had to Say It podcast. We got Mr. Z Palmer. We got Roy Spalding. We got JoJo, our favorite girl from down under. We got Kaylee Norris and Tasha A. from the great state of Washington. And our OG crew member, Melissa Holstein. Y'all help me keep the lights on. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And remember, we're not sheepdogs. We are lions. And stay safe, watch your back, and watch your partner's back.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm